And then when you come back, let me know that as well, right? Second thing, we have a Google Classroom, which you can see on the screen, right? And I'm putting the link in the chat. Please try to join it, right? Let me show you what is there right now. If you don't join it right now, try to join it by the end of class, right? Or just after class also. So right now, what is posted, we have our week 1 materials, right? So we have, this is our PowerPoint that we'll be looking at. Who are you, right? Then we have some vocabulary. We have a vocabulary list with words for describing people, and then also family members, vocabulary for family, right? We also have posted here an assignment. So sorry, this is the week 1 PowerPoint, right? This will take you to the PowerPoint. And then this here is an assignment for you to try before next week, right? So write a paragraph of about 100 to 150 words in Spanish about yourself. You might wish to include your name, age, occupation. So you students, right? Describe yourself physically, describe your personality, try listing out some things that you like to do, right? You could, of course, use the vocabulary list to help you. And during class, I will give you time to work on it so you could ask any questions if you have them, right? And it's worth 20 marks. If you have any questions at this point, you can tell me. So right now, there's a general resource, which is a link to some children's storybooks. So in between when we're taking a break, we could look at a couple. I have one open for us today for us to look at, right? When we're taking breaks from activities. Okay. Any questions so far? Anything anybody wants to ask? Or say? So I'll ask again for the people who joined a little bit later, what form are you in? If you already answered, you don't have to answer again, right? And did you get any topics from your teachers that you'll be doing this term? And or what are you doing in Spanish right now? So we can make sure we reinforce it, right? All right, thank you guys. All right, so if you have any topics for the term, you can let me know, right? So I could make sure we cover them. Although the ministry has a curriculum for all the forms, right? For form 1, 2, 3, every school is different. They plan differently. They don't always follow the exact outline sent by the ministry because it doesn't always suit their students the best, right? So you could let me know. All right, now let me give you my contact information. If you were in English yesterday, you already have it. If not, I will write it here in the PowerPoint. So when you come back to it on Google Classroom, you'll see it, right? All right, so my name, well, as you will see when you look at stuff on Google Classroom, is Michelle Ramlagan. And my contacts, all right, so some of y'all are messaging in the chat, thank you. You could message me on WhatsApp at this number, right? And my email address is ramlaganmichelle@gmail.com, right? Now, we are using Google Classroom so that we can keep track of things, make sure that you turn in what you need to turn in, and make sure that I respond and correct what I need to correct, right? All right. All right, so if we don't have any more questions right now, everybody understands how to join Google Classroom. Some of you would have done it before. Okay. All right. Okay, and some of y'all were here for summer, right? Not everybody is brand new, right? Okay, all right, well, let's get started with our actual topic for today, right? Who are you? Okay, so I'm just looking at a couple questions in the chat before we get started. So if you're not in the classroom, I'm gonna send Mark the link in the chat. You could either click on the link and it will add you that way, or you could go to, I think it's classroom.google.com and put in the code, this code, right? BAXH2KT, which you see on the screen, but which is also at the end of the link in the chat, right? If you still cannot get added, if you're still not able to join the classroom for some reason, then message me on WhatsApp with your email address and explain that you're in the the Wednesday Spanish class, and I'll add you manually with your email address, right? All right, as for how to turn in homework, let's look at that. So Sir has also been added to the class, so we could have a student. All right, so this is a student, what a student will see when they click on it, right? So let's go back to the homepage. So this is the homepage, and you'll see the things that I posted when you, if you're on the stream tab up here, but if you go to the classwork tab, that's a little more organized, I find, right? You can see the things that are posted by topic, right? So stream is just as it comes, they post it. Very disorganized, and classwork is by topic, right? So you look at, this is the assignment, this is the icon tells you assignment. Is there another way to see work? Do you know? All right, so you go to this and we can look at the instructions. When you view the instructions, over here on the right hand side, you can add or create, right? Now you have options as to how you do the homework. You can open my documents with Google Docs, and then you write the assignments in there, right? And then when you're done, you add or you turn it in, right? So this is Google Docs and you turn it in when you're done, right? Or you can handwrite it in your notebook if you really don't want to use Google Docs because it's hard to get accents and so on. You can handwrite it in your notebook, take a picture, and then when you go to add or create, it will ask you if you want to upload a file. So you could upload a file, right? You could upload the picture. You could use Google Docs without opening it here. You could just create a Google document, or sometimes people use Microsoft. I think is it OneDrive? I'm not sure. And then when you share the document, you would upload the link, right? You would copy and paste the link. So you have options. Just make sure whatever it is legible, right? And if you get confused or you have questions, you could, of course, message me on WhatsApp and I will respond as soon as I can, right? Now, if I message you on WhatsApp, I don't expect an immediate response. So don't ever feel like you need to respond right away, right? Because sometimes the times I message, we're two different generations. So we probably work at different times of day. What time do you all typically find yourself doing homework and studying? For me, it's like early morning. But for you all, I'm guessing it might be like late evening at night, right? Yeah, so we probably have two different work times. All right. Okay. Some of y'all, it's in the evening too. All right. Okay, so well, I'm gonna type this because someone is not hearing. So if you cannot hear, then you need to log out and log back in, right? And if you find that there's a lot of background noise on my side, you can tell me and I will close the window. It's just very hot to have the window open. All right, so let's get started on the actual work for today, right? So these are our topics that we want to go over today, right here, right? So we want to talk about describing people, right? Now, everybody has done this before. We want to talk about family members, just the vocabulary, right? So that's really a vocab. Sarah and Estar, so if you were with us over summer, then we did this. This will be review for you. But even if you weren't with us over summer, I'm sure you've done this in school already. That's one of the first things teachers cover. And then we want to start the topic of adjectives, but really next week is when we'll get more in depth into it. So today we're just going over the basic rules for adjectives. Next week we will talk about like comparative and superlative forms and irregular forms and so on, right? All right. So let's get started. All right, so here we have a family. ¿Cómo es tu familia? So what is your family like? That's what this thing on top means, right? So we're going to work on description. Right? So you could write this as your heading. What is your family like? Right? Every time we say como es, we mean what is something like. So if we said like, como es tu escuela, what is your school like? Como es tu amigo, what is your friend like? Right? Describe your friend, describe your school, right? So this is a good expression to remember for conversation, right? You could be asked it or you might do the asking. All right, so I have 4 people here. So this, you can take this down as your heading, and then we're going to complete the sentences on the right-hand side. So we have, I'll do the first one with you, and then you could try the others. So let me give you a moment to take down the heading. I think I will close my window because the traffic noise is bothering me, so it must be bothering you all. And you could think about how would we describe this person's mother, right? All right, ready? All right, so my mother is, when you look at her, what description comes to mind? Let's go with the ace first. So what is she? Is she tall? Is she short? Is she thin? Is she dark? Is she fair? What would you say? All right. So some people are saying short, some people are saying tall. Okay, she's tiny and beautiful. So this is from Deshawn. All right, thanks. All right, so I'm gonna write some options here, right? So mi madre. Let me leave a space here, right? Mi madre is, okay, so here are some adjectives coming in. We have pequeña. So she's small, she's on the small side. All right. Hermosa. Bonita, right? All right. So small, as in petite, right? That's what we might say in English. Beautiful. Where we know real words for pretty boy, bonita, right? And I'm happy to see that y'all are making the words agree. Linda, right? Also pretty, right? All right. Now tell me, do we know the word for thin? Do we know the word for thin? What's the word for thin in Spanish? Right, delgada, okay. And if we had to say she was tall, what would we say? Alta, all right. What if we had to say she was short? Okay, so the opposite of thin is fat. So gorda is fat, right? Okay, baja for short, right? Ella is baja for short, right? Okay, very good. Now, tell me about the father. How would you describe him? Oh, wait, no, we didn't do the TNA part. So y'all are taking on whatever vocab you want to. But you will also see this in the list, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time waiting for us to write down. What does she have? How do you say she has fair hair, for example, or she's blonde? So, mi madre tiene what? What's the word for hair? All right, so pelo, largo. How come it's largo and not larga this time? Y rubio, right? So she has, so this word is hair, right? This is the word for long. It looks like large, but it really is long. And this is the word for fair, right? In this context, blonde, because in English, when you say fair hair, you say blonde hair. But rubio is also used for skin, right? No, it's not the same for masculine or feminine, but good guess. It's what is it agreeing with? What is largo? What are largo and rubio agreeing with this time? They are agreeing with the pelo, right? And pelo is masculine, so largo y rubio, right? All right. So I'm pausing to give people a chance to write, and then we'll go on to padre, or to hermano mayor or hermana menor. Okay. What kind of person does the brother look like? Or what kind of person does the sister look like? So rather than physical characteristics, what personality you think they have inside of them? They seem happy, okay. Silly, all right. All right, how do we say that my older brother is happy? As in he's a happy person. Or joyful, yeah. Or if you know the word for playful too, you could say that. So we're going to talk about the brother. Let's give him blue. Let's be unadventurous and give him blue. All right. Okay, the brother seems simpatico. He seems nice. All right. So mi hermano mayor. So my older brother, right? So mayor is older. And menor is younger, right? Now we will probably come back to these as irregular adjectives next week, right? So I'm just mentioning the meaning, but don't worry too much if this is the first time you've seen it or you can't remember or whatever, right? All right, so mi hermano mayor is, okay, let's go with simpático. That's probably a very easy word for us to remember. He's nice, right? So this means nice. Okay, how do we say he's happy? He's a happy person. feliz, right? So we would say es feliz. Now, what is the difference between saying es feliz and está feliz? Anybody can tell me? Right? Está is temporary. So if I said está feliz, I mean, right now he's happy. Like maybe he just got his favorite dinner and right now he's happy. Está feliz. Or está contento. Why didn't I use contento? I'm not really sure. Right? If I say es, then I mean he's a happy person, right? That I'm indicating a characteristic about him. Okay? All right. Can y'all tell me how to say that the father has dark hair, like he's a brunette? So el padre tiene what? Dark hair, he's a brunette. How do we say that? Somebody has to be able to pick him out of a crowd. All right. Short. Okay, so short, we want to say short too. Corto. Well, is that the word we would use to describe here? Oscuro is oscuro the word we would use to describe here. Did I leave out the guys, look over here by where the mother's description is. I left out the ale by pillow, right? Make sure you put in an ale here. So when we talk about body parts, we use the article. All right. Is there another word besides oscuro we could use? We could also use moreno, right? All right. Corto y oscuro. Okay. So let's take down anything we need to take down from here. And then we're going to go look at our vocabulary list that I'm sharing with you, right? So I'm giving us a minute here and you'll tell me when you're done writing. All right, so guys, in general, you'll have to remind me to start the recording. So people's character, right? Amable for kind. Now this is mostly alphabetized, but you'll find some here and there that are out of order. When I have time, I'll come back and fix it, but it's important that you have your list, right? Apasionado, for passionate. Cariñoso, affectionate. Compasivo, compassionate. Creativo, creative. Determinado, determined. Empático, empathetic. Generoso, generous. See, like this is back to front, right? Honesto, honest. This is easy to fix here. Right. Humilde, humble, leal, loyal, optimista, optimistic, paciente, patient, resiliente, resilient, responsable, responsible, sincero, sincere, solidario, supportive, tolerante, tolerant, confiable, trustworthy, and valiente, brave. All right, so what is missing, you think? Are there any words for character that seem to be missing that are not on the list? So I can think of one that you told me just now that starts with an S that is not here. Right, so simpatico is not here. We can put that in, right? All right, can you all think of any others? Trustworthy is, well, I changed it now, so you should hopefully see it, but it's not in the right place, but that's all right. All right, let's get a little A accent for simpatico. All right. Any other words for character y'all can think of that you like to use all the time and you're not seeing it here? All right, well, think about it. If anything comes up, comes to mind, you can add it in. All right, so let's keep going. So the next thing that's down here is people's physical appearance, right? So these are some of these words you may feel like you never need to use, right? For example, you might feel like you never need to use belleza, beauty, right? And some of them will be more popular, like alto, bonito, calvo. So let me just point out some here. So we know alto is tall. If you want to describe somebody old who's wrinkled, arrugado, barbudo for bearded, calvo for bald. This one is reversed, encantador or encantadora for charming, right? Okay, so this is in two places, so I can take it out from here. All right, feo for ugly, freckled is pecoso, right? Guapo or guapa for handsome or attractive. Right, so a girl could be guapa, meaning attractive, right? Hairy peludo, so this one is reversed. What else? Okay, so for skin, piel clara for fair skin, piel oscura for dark skin. Round face, rostro redondo, sobrepeso for overweight, valiente for brave. This should really be up on top. Okay. So, choose some that you would like to, okay, so valiente is here already, right? Choose some that you would like to learn, memorize, right? Use on a regular basis. And you could do that. All right, so somebody has corrected here, am I responsible? Right? They put responsable first. All right, we'll fix this space. I'll fix this spacing later on, right? All right. And here we have some facial features. So here are some words for beard, barba, for mustache, bigote, right? If you want to describe somebody's nose, nariz, eyes, ojo, right? No, you don't have to learn. Well, it's up to you decide, right? If you want to, you could learn all. Over time, you should learn as many as you could, right? But I don't think you could also choose. You could choose 10 or 20 from up here, people's character that you think you're more likely to use. You could choose 10 or 20 from physical appearance that you think you're more likely to use, right? And you definitely don't have to learn all for next week, right? This is just a resource for you, right? Okay, what else? So colors of eyes. So if you need to say, talk about the colores de ojos. So if they're azul, blue, maroon, brown. So probably this might be the most popular for us in the West Indies, right? So definitely learn brown. Types of hair. So cabello/pelo, right? Rubio, moreno, castaño, negro, gris. So for somebody older, gris, right? Or you can talk about them in canoso, gray haired, right? Facial hair. So we touched on that above. The word for beard is barba, mustache, bigote, perilla. If you want to say somebody does not have facial hair, they're clean shaven, barbilla afeitada, barba larga, barba corta, bigote espeso, sorry, thick mustache, right? Words for complexion are here too, right? All right. Any questions anybody want to ask at the moment? I'm sure you'll have met a lot of these already, especially people who are in Form 3, right? Now, every time we do a topic, my goal is to give you a list of vocabulary words, right? Okay, now we have some family words here, right? So let's see. We have grandmother, grandfather, abuela, abuelo, great grandmother, great grandfather, bisabuela, bisabuelo, sister, hermana, brother, hermano, daughter, hija, hijo, son, mother is madre, father is padre, grandson, granddaughter, nieto, nieta, aunt, tia, uncle, tio. So now the family words, I think you need to learn all, right? These are fairly popular. You might see, at some point you will see some of them, right? Okay, so prima, cousin, primo, also cousin for boys, right? Sobrina for niece, sobrino for nephew. Esposa, wife, esposo, husband. Cuñada for sister-in-law, cuñada for brother-in-law, suegra, mother-in-law, and suegro, father-in-law, right? All right, so why don't I give us a few minutes with this list, right? I'll give you 2 minutes. And the Spanish words for family that you don't know, because I'm sure we know madre, padre, hijo, hija, right? And some of the others. So you could have some time to take down the ones that you are seeing for the first time, right? I'll give you a few minutes. So right now, we're going to note family words that are unfamiliar. So for some people, it might be more, and for others, it might be less, right? So I'm giving you 2 minutes here to do that. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you could ask. Thanks, Leah, yes. All right, so we're going back now to PowerPoint, right? Okay, so we're going into Sarah and Estar, right? And we know that both of these verbs mean to be, okay? So I want you to look at what we have in English here. I'm going to give you a minute to read it. And I want you to tell me which of the verbs get ser and which of the verbs get estar. So I'm muting myself and giving you a chance to read it, all right? All right, so everybody has read it, right? Okay, so I'm launching my poll questions. How are you going to answer yes and you don't know what the question is yet? Does the first question get there? I am intelligent and kind. Does it get there? If it gets there, you could say yes on the poll. If it does not get there, you could say no on the poll. All right. Now I'm noting that only half of the class has participated, right? All right. Okay, somebody can't open the poll. And if you can't open the poll, you can put your answer in the chat. All right, so about 2/3 of the class has participated. So, all right, we want to get that closer to 100%. All right, so I'm going to stop this one. Let's look at the next one. I am tall. Is that Sarah or Star? I am tall. Sarah or Star? If it's Sarah, then yes. If it's a Star, then no. I am tall. Is that Sarah or is that a Star? Sarah is yes. and Estar is no. Right? Sarah means to be, right? Estar means to be. Okay. All right, let's try another one. I am in Trinidad. Is that Sarah or Estar? Let me read the one she pulled. Tell me about I am in Trinidad. Is that, if it's Sarah, then yes. If it's not Sarah, then no. Okay, the class seems to be split more or less down the middle. Half of the people think it's Estar and half of us think it's Sarah. All right. What about, okay, so I'm gonna share the results of this last part of the poll, and then we'll just go through it together and talk about it, right? All right, so you all can see it. Okay, so both Sarah and Estar are Spanish verbs for to be. So in English, we have the verb to be. I am, you are, he or she, it is, you know, we are, you are, they are, right? And Spanish speakers have to choose between ser and estar to convey that idea, right? All right, so you also somebody told me at the beginning of class that ser is for things that are permanent, that do not change, right? And estar is for things that change. So let's look at the different sentences in English and decide if we will use ser or estar, right? I am intelligent and kind. So that is our physical characteristic. Well, physical characteristics that is seen as permanent. So we would use ser, right? I am tall, right? Also ser, physical characteristics. So, well, okay, this intelligent and kind aren't physical, but they are characteristics. So ser and ser, right? I am in Trinidad. Well, I could leave Trinidad. I could go somewhere else, right? So that one is Estar. Ooh, this green is very bright. All right. Okay. All right. Well, think of it in a different way. Think of it as traits, people's traits, whether it's their characteristics, or perhaps their personality. Those are ser, right? And a star for location. Your location could change. A star, right? I am a student. So think of this as who you are, your occupation. Your occupation takes ser, right? All right. Today, now this is a clue. Today, I am very happy. Today, just today, I am very happy. So I would think this would be a star, right? Because they're highlighting the fact that it's today, right? Now, if I want to say I'm a happy person, then I use there. Because we are going shopping, all right, no, to be there. I am sad that I do not have a lot of money. Well, I think this might be ser. No, you're all right. You feel sad. All right, well, yeah, okay, it's a condition. So we'll go with a star, right? All right. Now what about this last one? This is a trick question. Sarah is star. I am 10 years old. This is a trick question. Trick question. Everybody is being caught by the trick. How do you say your age in Spanish? Correct. Ariel has it. Neither. Annabelle has it. Yeah, okay. So tango. So it's really neither, right? Tengo 10 años. All right, good. Trick question, right? So we say I am, but in Spanish, you express that by saying I have. Okay, so look at the screen and see if there's anything you want to ask before I change it. See if there's anything you want to ask. The next thing we're going to do is review and note on Sarah and Estar. Okay, so nothing we want to ask right now. So let's look at our next thing, right? Oops. Okay, so if these conjugations are new to you and you don't have them written down and memorized, you could take it down, right? So ser is to be, and it's generally considered for more permanent things. And so when we conjugate it in the present tense, we say yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es. Now, if you do not use the, oh, sorry, we got into that just now. Nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes son, right? So now if you do not use the vosotros form, leave it out of the note. Some schools teach vosotros, even though it's not required by CSEC anymore. And some schools do not. So if you use it in school, then take it down. But if you do not use it in school, then just leave it out, right? So this one, pay extra attention. And a reminder that VD and sometimes UD is short for usted, right? Which is the U formal. So you're speaking to your teacher, you're speaking to a stranger on the street or a police officer, that's somebody you don't know. You use usted, right? And this is ustedes, right? This is plural, and this is singular. Wouldn't student be a star because you won't be one forever? It would, well, it's considered your occupation. So and occupations get ser. Because an occupation is a more permanent thing. We're not talking about like a job where you maybe you get a job in between waiting for your CSEC results and starting A-levels. That's not your career necessarily. Your career is what you study for a long time to become, and what you work in for years, right? Because you're a student for years. So yeah. All right. Estar is for temporary things. So yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes están. Now I took it for granted that I didn't need to write the English in between, but let me write it in case there's anybody who needs it, right? So I am, you are, he, she, it, you, formal, well, no, is and an are, right? Because he, she, it is, but you are, right? We are, you plural, right? And then they / you plural again, are, right? Any questions? Anything anybody doesn't understand on the screen, let me know, right? I'll say it again. If you don't do the vosotros form, you do not need to write it down, right? But if you do vosotros in school, then by all means, you need to know it, right? All right, so giving people a chance to write if they need to write this down. Now, I realize some of you may already have it in your books, so you may not need to write it down. Some of you hopefully already know it by heart, right? So you may not need to write it down. But for those of us who don't know it by heart and may not remember doing it before, let's take it on, right? So I'm giving us a minute here. Right, we leave out the article, the indefinite article A when we're talking about what someone is, right? Okay, so here is our nationality. I am Colombian, right? Common C in Spanish, but capital C in English. Physical characteristics, also son altos, right? They are tall. Personality traits, nosotros somos amigables. So we are friendly. This one I think is the same as from summer, not different. So they are tall. And we are friendly, right? All right, now if you've been doing Spanish for a while, like everybody here has, you'll know that often in Spanish, we leave out the subject. So the first two, we have ella, and we have tú, right? She and you. But then for number 3, we just have soy. We don't have yo soy, although we could put yo soy. And we don't have ellos son, but we could have ellos, right? And the reason for that is that the endings in Spanish for verbs are so unique that you could usually figure out the subject without actually seeing the subject, right? So soy tells us it's yo, and son tells us it's ellos or ellas. And we can figure out ellos because it says altos, right? Okay, so when we have permanent traits that are not really going to change easily, right? So our identity, our job, our occupation, our nationality, our physical traits, our personality traits. We use ser, right? So if I say yo soy feliz, I'm really saying that I am a happy person. Right? All right, now let's look at Estar. So Estar is for more temporary things. So location, right? Now, if I say I am from Trinidad, then it's soy de Trinidad. But if I want to indicate that I'm just in Trinidad right now. Where are you right now? I'm in Cunupia. Estoy en Cunupia, right? I could move. I could go to Chaguanas. I could go to Maracas, if only. I could go somewhere else. So estoy. Location could change, right? We could travel. All right. Next one, emotion. So our emotions change. We're not always what we feel all the time, right? So here I am in Cunupia, right? Está orgullosa. So she is proud. Maybe she got a great bargain. Maybe she shared something. I don't know. Maybe she just feels like she looks great. She's proud, right? In the sense that she feels proud, right? So in English, you might say, she feels proud, and it's está orgullosa, right? We're not saying she's a proud person. We're not trying to say she's haughty. We're not trying to say she's always prideful. We're just saying right now she feels proud, right? So está orgullosa, emotion, right? Condition or temporary qualities. These people are in the way here. My little picture, but this is qualities. So maybe just let me write it in. Right? So estamos preocupados hoy. So we are preoccupied, we are worried today, right? We won't be worried tomorrow. We're just worried for right now. So it's a temporary quality. It's how we feel right now. It's a condition. So estamos preocupados hoy, right? Opinion, ellas están perezosas. So I'm looking at these two kittens and I'm saying, they look lazy. But it's my opinion, right? Maybe they're not lazy. Maybe they are hard workers. So by using están, I can convey that I am sharing my opinion. I'm not saying they are lazy animals in general. I'm just saying that they, I think to me, they look lazy, right? And then this last one, incidental quality. So things that might change, just like up above condition or temporary quantities, but incidental, just kind of by the way it might change, right? Estás pálido, so you are pale, right? And over here I had soy feliz at the bottom, I am a happy person. Now if I said estoy feliz, then I would be saying I feel happy, right? All right, so let me give you a couple minutes so you could note and ask any questions if you have them. And maybe after we're done with this slide, we can take a short break. Want to read more? You have a link in the chat, as well as on our Google Classroom site. On the classwork, here's a link to a whole bunch of the different ones, right? And the one we looked at was Petit el Monstruo, right? Petit the monster. All right. So we went through our Estar and Estar. This is one more use of Estar and Estar, which we'll go through in detail next week. This is our homework assignment, right? It's posted on Google Classroom, but let's just look at it now. And in between, if you are done with a note, of course, you could start working on it, right? Write a paragraph in Spanish about yourself. Please do not go to Google Translate and type in a paragraph and then give me the Spanish, right? Just do what you can. I just want to see where you are. And for the form ones, if you are not here as yet and you cannot do that because you haven't learned enough Spanish, you could try saying a few characteristics based on what we discussed today, right? Just whatever you could do. If you've learned how to say your name, you could say that. If you've learned anything about how to say age, or you could say that. Whatever you could say, just say, right? I am suggesting that you put in name, age, occupation, that you try for some physical description, and you say some traits about your personality, right? So those things we covered. We didn't cover this, but you might know it. Try listing some things you like to do, right? All right. We have a comprehension, which we won't have time to do all of, but maybe we could do piece of. All right. So this comprehension, like everything we've done today, is highlighting the use of ser and estar, right? So let's look at it for about 5 minutes, right? So we're just practicing our reading and understanding, right? So mi amigo Juan es un hombre muy interesante. So what does this sentence mean? My friend Juan, is this also the passage? No, the passage is not in Google Classroom. Well, actually, the PowerPoint is in Google Classroom, so you could get it that way, yeah. Right, go to the PowerPoint and go through and you'll get it, right? So what does this mean? My friend Juan is very interesting. We're just going to do the first paragraph and focus on the uses of ser, right? So amigo is friend, right? And hombre is man, right? And interesante is interesting, right? So he's an interesting man, a very interesting man, right? Now es, why are we using ser here? This is from ser. What's of the rules that I gave you, which rule is this one? So this is just a discussion exercise for now, right? To test our understanding of when we use ser. Okay, good. His personality trait, right? Or character traits. Good. All right. All right. No, you don't have to write a passage. We're just analyzing why ser is being used in some places, right? So this is just for discussion, right? All right, so here's another one. Él es ingeniero de profesión. So he is an engineer by profession, right? Why are we using ser here? What is the justification for using ser? Occupation, good. All right, now here, let's go back to the es un hombre muy interesante, right? So this one is occupation. I am trying to say that his characteristic, his character is an interesting one. He as a person is interesting, right? So yes, in a way, that is my opinion. But perhaps that is a general opinion, and my opinion doesn't differ, so we take it as fact. He's an interesting person, right? Does that make sense? I don't want you all to get confused, right? And here again, es una persona muy inteligente, so you could recognize this is intelligent, and y creativa, so you could recognize what word is creativa? Creative, right? All right, so what is the justification for ser here? This is his what? Which of our 4 or 5 things is it? Saying that he's an intelligent and creative person is his character / personality, right? All right. Now we have an está. Siempre está ocupado. So he's always busy in his work or with his work, right? So busy at work. All right, why have we used está here? Now the speaker is saying, he's always busy. But is he literally always busy? Is he busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? He's not, correct. So this is something that will change, right? This is a state. Is that the term we used for it? When we talked about, well, no, I gave you emotion, right? So state that will change. This is like the incidental quality. So the person who was pale, like, you get scared or you get lightheaded and you go pale, and that's incidental. This is like the last one that had that kind of gothic fella in the picture that looked like, I forget the name of the actor, but right. Yeah, okay, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. Yes, it's an opinion. I hear you. It's an opinion, right? It will change. All right. Okay, and then we have y su oficina es un lugar muy organizado. So this is meant to imply that it is always organized, right? So this is a trait or characteristic of the office, right? So it's permanent, so we use is, right? And then I'm just gonna run through the others quickly because I want to do one more thing before we end, and we only have 15 minutes left. So he is alto and delgado, so this is physical characteristic again, right? He's tall and thin, so we use ser. Okay, and now here is a use of estar that I bet you all didn't expect. Está casado means he is married. Está casado con. He's married to an enchanting woman named Maria. All right. Now, I bet were you all thinking that married should take ser because it's mostly permanent? Well, in Spanish, it takes estar because I guess they recognize that it's not permanent, right? Or you could think of it as describing his state. Yes, they could divorce. All right, so está casado con. So he is married to, so that is an estar. It's a state that could change. All right, I'm leaving this up for a minute in case anybody wants to ask a question or you're noting something. And then I want to go to the last slide, which is to just look at the basic rules for adjectives, right? So 1 minute, see if you have any questions, and then we're going to continue. Adjectives. All right, so I'm doing the first 3 basic rules for adjectives, right? And one rule is that adjectives go where in relation to the noun. Adjectives in Spanish come after the noun, right? So in English, we would say the White House, or the blue car, or the pink ink, right? So here is my adjective, comes first, and here is my noun, right? But in Spanish, it's the other way around. The adjective is placed after the noun, right? All right, so we have La Casa Blanca. So it's literally the house white, right? But we know it means the White House, right? All right, next one we have El Chico Alto. Yes, it would be the ink pink if we said it in the Spanish way. So the tall boy, right? So this is tall, whoops, sorry. But it's really the boy tall in Spanish, right? So hey, Spanish is like Trini, we would say the boy tall. All right, so tall is alto, right? And El Chico is the boy. Now I'm writing this for people because I have some home ones, right? But obviously the 2s and the 3s, you all already know these words. You don't have to write it down exactly the same way I'm writing it. You could just take down the example and write the tall boy, right? Okay, everybody okay so far? So first main rule about adjectives, they are placed after the noun. All right, next rule. Adjectives have to agree with the noun in gender. So every noun in Spanish has a gender. It is either male or female, right? If the adjective is a word that ends with an E, or a word that ends with a consonant, so not a vowel, right? Then it doesn't change. But if the adjective ends in an O, then if it's female, you change it to A. If the noun is masculine, you leave it as O, right? So here are our examples. So still with the tall boy, it's very popular amongst our examples, right? So the O, it's masculine, so the adjective stays masculine, right? Now, if it's a girl, the girl is feminine. So the noun is feminine, it ends in an A. So the adjective also must be changed to match, and it ends in an A, right? All right, so 2s and 3s, this is like baby revision for y'all. Home ones, if this is confusing you, tell me, right? So here we change O to A, right? For a feminine noun. So this explanation is really for the form ones, right? Because I'm assuming the 2s and 3s know it already, right? All right. El Chico inteligente, right? So this is the one up top with the adjective ends in an E. Right? So my adjective inteligente ends in an E. So there's no change. Well, yeah. It's not like I changed the inteligente to an O or an A or anything like that, right? And then, so here's a clear example now. This is feminine. La chica inteligente, right? So, still no change, right? Even though now the noun is feminine. All right, and now let's look at pencil, lápiz. Oh, sorry, azul. So I have el ojo azul. So now we're looking at adjectives that end in consonants. Right, so here this one ends in a consonant. The L. Right, and masculine, so no change, right? And feminine now, la lápiz azul, also no change, right? So this is feminine. Oops, this is a terrible highlight, right? And no change, right? So it ends in a consonant, no change, right? All right, so guys, everybody should be just noting again the rules because we're gonna build on this next week, right? Even if you know them, you can know the rules. You don't need to necessarily write all the explanation if you know it, right? But I do want you to have the rules in front of you, right? So, and then the third rule, adjectives agree with the noun in number. So if the adjective ends in a vowel, so that means that if the noun is plural, the adjective has to be plural, right? If the noun is singular, the adjective has to be singular. So that's what that means, right? So we say it agrees in number, singular noun, takes, singular adjective, right? And then plural noun takes plural adjective, right? All right, so adjectives agree with the noun in number if the adjective ends in a vowel. To make it plural, we add an S. If the adjective ends in a consonant and we need to make it plural, we add ES, right? So our examples, los chicos inteligentes and oops, las chicas altas, los coches azules. So let's explain what we have here. All right, so OS, so it's plural, so we add an S to inteligentes, right? Chicas is plural, feminine and plural. So based on rule 2, we made alta, alto, alta, right? And based on the chicas being plural, we added the S to alta, right? And then the last one, los coches. So now we are plural again. And here we have an adjective that ends in a consonant, the L, right? So to make it plural, we add ES, right? All right, so if it ends in a vowel, add S, right? If it ends in an adjective, also add S, right? But if it ends in a consonant, we add ES, right? Why did I put number 2F have lápiz instead of ojo? Well, it's lápiz is to show that, so this number 2 is talking about gender, so I needed a feminine noun here, right? To show that if the adjective ends in a consonant, it doesn't change if the noun is feminine. It doesn't become like asula or something. Okay, any questions anybody wants to ask? Yes, a good tip, as Dishon is reminding us, nouns that have al and end in o are masculine, and nouns that have la and end in a tend to be feminine, right? And there are a few exceptions. Some nouns end in o, but they're still feminine, and vice versa. But we'll talk about that another time, right? Okay, for the form ones, if you're confused or overwhelmed, let me know. If it ends with an S, if what ends with the S, if the adjective ends with an S, if the noun ends with an S, then it probably is telling me that the noun is plural. So I will have to make the adjective plural to match, right? If the adjective is what ends in an S, then it follows the same rule like asul, because that means it ends in a consonant. So, in terms of getting it to agree with the gender of the noun, it just stays how it is. But then in terms of getting it to agree in number, we would add ES. It follows the, if it ends in a consonant rule or rules, right? All right, good questions. Any other questions? Anything you want to ask? Are you getting the record? Oh, hey, yeah. The code, the password for the Spanish classroom on the website is STAR, STAR, right? So, how you get the recordings is you go to the iLoveLessons website and you click on the Spanish classroom, and it will ask you for a password, and you put in the password STAR, right? To get the link to the PowerPoint, but without these notes, you can just get that off of the Google Classroom. But the recording you have to get from the website, because still posts the recordings. All right, any other questions? I want to wait before everybody leaves. I need to like take a picture of the rule again, right? No, guys, we will have a lot to cover, so please try and join by 4:30 next week, right? If you are confused about anything we are doing, you could always ask me and I will explain it again. If I can't do it during class, I'll explain it outside of class, after class. Message if you have problems, right? Yes, the website is iLoveLessons.com, I think. He didn't say the password because of trolls. Well, he didn't tell me that, and I didn't know, and I just said it. So how are you supposed to get the password? Message him, and he will tell you. Each classroom has a password, right? All right. So once you're done with this note and you know how to join Google Classroom, you know what your homework is, you can go ahead and leave, right? If you don't have any questions.